Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Black Rose Dragon Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for post Lightning Overdrive. Following the Utopia support, we are also getting new Black Rose Dragon support in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh booster pack. I'm definitely excited for this support. It just adds more to the playstyle of Black Rose Dragon as a whole, including giving the card a new evolution card in the form of Ruddy Rose Dragon. They changed the name from the OCG. I know a lot of people aren't happy about the name change, but it's still an awesome boss monster that the deck can definitely utilize to its full potential with all the different Rose Dragon monsters, including mixing the plant and dragon monsters we have for the deck all together to make some pretty easy synchro summons. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Rose Dragons, we're running 3 White Rose Dragon. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except for White Rose Dragon. You can only use each of these effects of White Rose Dragon once per turn. If you control a Dragon Tuner or Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. Or if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send 1 level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. So not only can it set up other plant monsters in your graveyard, it's just an easy special summon because our tuner monsters for our other Rose monsters are level 3, making it pretty easy to even out to Black Rose Dragon, and being able to set up other plant monsters in our graveyard just continues our plays because we have plenty of targets in the deck to go for this also. For the new Rose Dragon support, I'm running 3 Rox Rose Dragon. With this card, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 card that specifically lists Black Rose Dragon and its text from your deck to your hand, except for Rox Rose Dragon. And if a face-up Rose Dragon monster and or plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card while this card is in the graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Rox Rose Dragon once per turn. So not only does this card work very, very well with White Rose Dragon being able to have that easy special summon onto the field, but being able to search out cards that specifically lists Black Rose Dragon in it is a big addition because of our new spell, Basil Rose Shot, being an easy search off of this card, and just being able to work with the destruction aspect of our different Black Rose Dragons is an added bonus for all the different synchro monsters we have as well. And I also run still 2 of the original Red Rose Dragon. I dropped this card down to 2 just for the fact that Rox Rose Dragon is definitely a lot better for just the initial setup. With this one, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except for your Red Rose Dragon. And if this card is sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can add 1 Frozen Rose or 1 Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. So the Frozen Rose is a option in the deck. It's just a one-of card. So having that search option with this card is just another added plus, where you have the Basil Rose Shot for your Rox Rose Dragon and then Frozen Rose covered by your Red Rose Dragon. Both spells just being added cards that are big benefits for the deck altogether. But like I said, you really only need the 2 Red Rose Dragon for those plays. I also run 2 Dark Rose Fairy. There's a bunch of different types of monsters in this deck. It definitely gets confusing trying to keep up with all the different dragon and plant monsters, but we're adding some fairy monsters into the mix as well. If a tuner is special summon, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard to place this card on the top or bottom of your deck. So with this option, you have a special summon card onto the field, but also just more of a special summon to rely on for some additional plays you can make in the deck, and giving you an additional monster on the field. There's no real limit to some of the summons for Black Rose Dragon, but this is an added plus, just making sure that when you summon your tuner, you get this additional monster on the field that you can then use to go into even some of your other cards like your Garden Rose synchros also. And for some of the more generic plant support, I also run 3 Lone Fire Blossom. This is just a great addition to the deck for the fact that it can special summon out a good number of different plant monsters that we're running as well, with one of our main ones for the target. Just like I said, you could target Lone Fire Blossom with itself, and then another Lone Fire Blossom, setting them all up in the graveyard for more special summons onto the field. But then the main target you want to go for your Lone Fire Blossom is Predaplant Orpheus Scorpio. With this card, it is a card that can set up your Predaplant Darlingtonia Cobra, which then can search out your instant fusion that we're running in the deck, which then can give you access to the extra deck for Sea Monster of Theseus. Being a tuner fusion monster, it works very, very well for synchro summoning with our level 2 monsters in the deck to easily get out Black Rose Dragon as well. So with this setup, you have the discard, special summon, and also just 2 additional plant monsters on the field, which you can also use to get out your Crossroads Dragon, being a monster that just needs 2 monsters of different types, and meeting one of the requirements with one of the plant monsters, and then just having another additional level 3 on the field to work for more synchro plays. I also run one of the new Ruddy Rose Witch. With this card is a plant level 1 tuner. You contribute this card to add 1 Witch of the Black Rose from your deck to your hand. If you do, take 1 level 3 or lower plant monster from your deck and place it on the top of your deck immediately after this effect resolves, and you can normal summon 1 Witch of the Black Rose from your hand, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to return 1 Black Rose Dragon or Ruddy Rose Dragon that is banished or in your graveyard and to the extra deck, and you can only use each effect of Ruddy Rose Witch once per turn. I only really run 1 of this card because you can easily summon it out onto the field with plenty of your other plant support, including your Lone Fire Blossom for that setup. So with it, you have just an easy access to this card to then recycle and also search out some more plant setup, including Witch of the Black Rose onto the field. Now, one thing to remind everyone, I don't have the Witch of the Black Rose. I couldn't find any copies of the card to add to the deck, sadly, so I'll show you what card I would take out for the 1 copy of Witch of the Black Rose. That and also Heavyweight Carrot Champion are 2 cards that I need to add to the deck, so I'll show you what I would take out for both of those copies with the upcoming cards. They're basically just placeholders for those cards, but very easy substitutes that you can use for the deck altogether. For more additional plant support, I also run the 1 Spore, another good graveyard setup, and another 1-for-1 target, just because then you can special summon onto the field by banishing another plant monster, adjusting the level of Spore on the field, and then giving you more of that setup. For more of the dragon setup, I also run 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You run plenty of dragon monsters in the form of Rocks Rose, Red Rose, and also White Rose Dragon in the deck. So being able to just special summon this card out and then give you an access to another monster on the field to summon out in the form of your dragon monsters can just keep the plays going for all of your different synchro plays. I didn't originally run this, but the more we got with the dragon types for the main deck, the more I was urged to run more dragon support along with the plant support. Now, as for the spots for filling in for Witch of the Black Rose and Heavyweight Carrot Champion, I have 2 Rose Archer in the deck, but this card you would want to substitute for 1 Witch of the Black Rose and 1 of the Heavyweight Carrot Champion, with the Heavyweight Carrot Champion being a card that you can basically set up in the graveyard, then just easily special summon back onto the field as a plant monster. And the Witch of the Black Rose is a level 4 monster, which works very, very well because it sets up with the Ruddy Rose Witch play, which then you can use to just set it on the top of the deck for some additional plays in your deck. And like I said, Rose Archer is good, but it's just more of a setup card that you can rely on for stopping your opponent's plays. We definitely do want to run 1 Heavy Carrot Weight Champion and 1 Witch of the Black Rose just for the additional cards we're running in the deck. For the last of the main deck monsters, I also run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, just my hand trap of choice in the deck for just being able to stop my opponent's plays altogether. And just like I said, it's a hand trap choice. If you want to run an additional tuner, you could try Effect Veiler. Being a level 1 monster, you may be able to adjust it with a few more other monsters in the deck, including your Predaplant or for Scorpio, just for more extra deck options. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. One of the newest spells in the deck is Basil Rose Shot, a quick play spell. You special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. If this set card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragon or a monster that specifically lists that card in its text that is banished or in the graveyard and special summon it. You can only use each effect of Basil Rose Shot once per turn. So not only is it an easy special summon of 1 of your Rose Dragons, it's searchable with our Rocks Rose Dragon. And also being able to set this card on the field, then summon a Black Rose Dragon and blow up the field can give you additional recycle power and just special summon options that is banished or in your graveyard for a Black Rose Dragon back onto the field, basically being the revival you need to summon it back onto the field to use for its secondary effect, which is the banishing of a plant monster to flip an opponent's monster on the field and make its attack 0. I also run 1 Black Garden and 1 Frozen Rose. I really feel it's all you need for both of the numbers for these cards, both of them being more situational and easily set up with some of the other cards we run in the deck. Frozen Rose also being searchable with Red Rose Dragon, like I said, and Black Garden really all you need, but it gives you token setup, which can help for a bunch of other synchro plays in the deck. For more of the options with Link summoning, I also run 2 World Legacy Succession. Whenever you summon out a Link monster, whether it be the new Bengal Lancer, the Resurgent, or even your Crossroads Dragon, you have plenty of targets to summon into the graveyard back onto the field to reuse for your synchro plays. For the addition of Basil Rose Shot, I also run 2 World Legacy Guard Dragon, and option to special summon more dragons onto the field, level 4 or lower. The good majority of the ones, aside from Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, obviously, are, all level 4 or lower, which can, depending on which one we have on the field, summon back another one, and then going for the synchro play with them. For some of the one-ofs in the deck, we do run a good number of additional one-ofs aside from Frozen Rose and the Black Garden. I run the 1 Foolish Burial just for more graveyard setup, whether it be for Heavyweight Carrot Champion or even for your Spore. Plenty of graveyard use there. 1 for 1, it can search out your Spore or your Ruddy Rose Witch, which I spoke of before as well. And 1 Instant Fusion. This is for the Predaplant or for Scorpio search. 1 Reasoning. With all the different levels, you can either set up a good plant in the graveyard to use, or just like I said, special summon something if your opponent calls the level wrong. 1 Call by the Grave for more graveyard disruption against your opponent. And lastly, for the one-ofs, like I said, there's a good amount of one-ofs in this deck just because they all work very, very well. And to also finish off the main deck, 1 Monster Reborn. Just the special summoning of this card is a big plus because being able to special summon Black Rose Dragon back onto the field and then make use of one of our level 3 tuners is the main go-to way to summon out our Ruddy Rose Dragon back onto the field for the main boss play. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Black Rose Dragon. It's just my preferred number for the deck. You can try running a few additional copies, but the fact that you can recycle this card with a couple other cards from the main deck is why I'm only running 2. You all know what this card does. It destroys everything on the field when it is synchro summoned, but you can also once per turn banish 1 plant type monster from your graveyard to change 1 monster your opponent controls to face up attack position and then reduce its attack to 0 until the end phase. You have plenty of plant type monsters to banish for this card, and don't forget this is a dragon monster, not a plant monster. So you'll have to remember what card effects to use when you have this card on the field with some of your other cards. So very, very useful for that setup and destruction together. I also run 1 of the new Ruddy Rose Dragon. Like I said, the name is atrocious, but still, you play it for the fact that it is an awesome Black Rose Dragon evolution card. It is a level 10 synchro, needing 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. So you don't even need to summon Black Rose Dragon to get it out, but still good for the option. If this card is synchro summon, you can banish all cards from the graveyards. Then if this card was synchro summon using Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards in the field. When your opponent activates a card or effect with destroy a card quick effect, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, then special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. So not only will it give you access to Black Rose Dragon if you don't initially make it, giving you another destruction play on the field or just the banish option, because remember it has to be synchro summoned to destroy everything on the field. Just having another monster on the field to make use of makes this an awesome card, and being able to take care of all the resources your opponent may have in their graveyard can definitely take away from a good number of decks, especially ones that rely on heavy graveyard setup. I also run 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, just an additional monster to stop your opponent's special summons by bouncing them back to the extra deck, and also being able to target special summon monster your opponent controls for that option, and then the additional level 5 or higher one. It's situational to make this one. I normally do like to go into Ruddy Rose or Black Rose Dragon more, but it's player preference with this also. I also run 1 Garden Rose Flora, a more easier card to pull than Garden Rose Maiden, but they're both tuner monsters and easy to summon out using our main go-to level 2, which is Dark Rose Fairy, and 1 of our level 3 tuner monsters to summon out on the field. And this one gives you token access as well, and you can target 1 card on the field zone, destroy it, and special summon to its controller's field. The Rose token, working with the Black Garden play, is an additional token as well, and also more of the setup with this card. If you don't have Garden Rose Maiden, like I said, this is a good replacement until you get it, but also for another card you could potentially replace for Garden Rose Maiden could be either F.A. Dawn Dragster, Clearwing Synchro Dragon, or Borreload Savage Dragon. Any one of these spots could be Garden Rose Maiden to run alongside with your Garden Rose Flora, but player preference as well, and also if you have the card, depending on what you're using. And that is it for the Synchro monsters. We'll now move on to the Link monsters. I run 1 Big L Lancer, the Resurgent, just another plant boss monster. Very strong one at that, being able to just give you more plant resources on the field to make use of. With this card being a Link 4 monster and needing 2 or more plant monsters to make it, it can be more of a difficult card to summon out, like I said, but still a good boss monster to rely on. I also run the 1 Crossroads Dragon, just need 2 monsters of different types, so 1 dragon monster and also 1 additional plant monster is your main go-to way to summon this card out onto the field. I also run 1 Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres for the option of your dragon monsters and just the bounce option, and an additional special summon for this card being able to attribute it to return 1 face-up card in the field or any of your dragon monsters is another added plus the 1 Nightmare Phoenix for the spell and trap destruction. Sometimes that back row can disrupt some of our main go-to synchro plays. 1 Crystron Halka Fibrax for the additional tuner summon onto the field. 1 Cross Sheep, additional summoning plays, depending on if you get for the synchro plays, you can rely on this card for that additional option of getting the additional plus of when you synchro summon, having them all gain the 700 attack, which can be an immense boost to your Ruddy Rose Dragon on the field. And lastly, the 1 Sea Monster of Theseus, just a tuner card, like I said, that goes with the Instant Fusion setup. And once again, I'll go over the play for that card. If you go for the Orpher Scorpio play, and if you can summon it off of your Lone Fire Blossom, or just when you normal summon it, you send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon the other Predaplant, which is Darlington Tonia Cobra, onto the field. Then you send another card with this card for the setup, giving you an Instant Fusion onto the field. You can then use these 2 cards for a Link summon of choice, and using the Instant Fusion to summon out your Sea Monster of Theseus gives you the tuner on the field, which will then let you special summon Dark Rose Fairy onto the field, having a level 5 tuner and a level 2 non-tuner. You can then summon out your Black Rose Dragon onto the field for that first initial play, and having, if you went for the Link summon, like I said, plant monsters in the graveyard to banish for its second effect. For more of the setup that I spoke of before, you can summon out your White Rose Dragon, allowing you to then summon Rox Rose Dragon off of the special summon, and adding 1 card that specifically lists Black Rose Dragon can give you the search for your Basil Rose Shoot as well, having the special summon option for an additional dragon on the field. So you have this special summon here, you then go for the level 7 play, which is your Black Rose Dragon onto the field, and then you can activate your Basil Rose Shot to special summon a Rose Dragon from your hand or graveyard. You'll go for the level 3 tuner on the field, and then you can use those cards to then summon out your Ruddy Rose Dragon onto the field and banish everything in the graveyard, still giving you the option to special summon the second Black Rose Dragon we have in the main deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, happy to have finally finished the Black Rose Dragon deck as well. It was definitely one I was excited to finish. And as a reminder, through the video, just in case you forgot, these 2 spots are meant to be for Witch of the Black Rose and Heavyweight Carrot Champion. So if you have any of those cards, you will substitute them for each of these Rose Archers that I'm running in the deck. Definitely more needed, I would say, than that card. So very, very useful altogether. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.